WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. A criminal investigation is underway after a body is found behind a home on Buck Road in Monroe County this morning. Our Quentin Smith has been following this developing story all day. He joins us in the studio with the very latest. Quentin, what can you tell us right now?
Well, Andrea, right now there are still more questions than answers, but what we do know is this all started when the missing persons report was filed. Investigators were led to the home of the missing person, and while searching that property, that's when investigators discovered a body. Southern Monroe County was at the center of a crime scene early Friday morning as yellow crime tape surrounded this yellow home where a body was discovered.
Actually, the body was found in the backyard. It was folded up and looked like maybe a couple of shower curtains and a tarpaulin, and it was inside of a blue tote bag back there.
The body was found hidden outside a home on Buck Road. Monroe County Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says deputies were originally at the home investigating a missing persons report that was filed earlier in the week for a Monroe County man.
Well, we had a disappearance of Mr. Stephen Hubner about Monday. We came out and did an investigation and found that he was missing.
According to Cantrell, 54-year-old Stephen Hubner, who was a civilian employee at the Columbus Air Force Base, left home for a business trip to Montgomery, Alabama, only to never be heard from again.
We knew the guy was missing. He did not show up at work come Monday, her husband, and we were looking for him. And we've been looking for him since then.
Continuing their search, deputies pinged his cell phone. According to investigators, the address that popped up turned out to be the home where the body was found, and it also happens to be the home of the missing man.
We really, we don't know who's in that bag at this point.
At this time, Cantrell says they're not identifying the body, and they're still unable to determine the exact cause of the victim's death.
At this point, we can't verify that it's a missing guy because we can't identify. We just know that we do have a body and that we're sending it to Jackson for an autopsy.
Now, deputies say they just want to speak with one of the homeowners living at the residence.
We don't know where his wife is at this point. We've got a bolo out on his wife trying to find her.
Now, this is still an ongoing investigation. If you have any information on this crime, you're asked to contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Andrea?
All right, Quentin, thanks so much for that update. An escaped inmate from Lamar County is back in jail, and he has some company. U.S. Marshals captured 33-year-old Jimmy Randolph this afternoon across the state line in Lee County. They also arrested his girlfriend, Amy Hickman. Rudolph overpowered a jailer after he was taken to a doctor's visit for treatment. Investigators believed he had help in the escape. Randolph was in jail on a failure to appear sentence. He was 10 days away from being released. He and Hickman may now be facing additional charges. A man who held law enforcement at bay and injured 2 Lowndes County deputies will serve 50 years in prison. Kent Cassia was sentenced to 25 years on each of 2 counts of aggravated assault on a law officer. In March of 2014, deputies went to Cassia's home on Drake Circle for what is known as a welfare check. Things went downhill quickly. After an initial conversation with Cassia, deputies approached the home with SWAT gear. That's when deputies Larry Swearingen and Clint Sims were shot.
The overwhelming support from the community from the beginning until now has just been outstanding. I'm proud to be a deputy of the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department.
Well, it's really about the deputies that were brave that day and were victims of a horrific crime, just trying to protect and serve. I'm glad that they got the closure.
Now, there was a delay in bringing this case to trial because the prosecutors had to wait on mental health evaluations from the state hospital. Cologne says there's a serious backlog and that delays everything else. Cassia will serve the 50 years consecutively. Both deputies have recovered from their injuries. The Monroe County Sheriff says he'll ask supervisors to pass an ordinance banning the sale of kratom in the county. Sheriff Cecil Cantrell telling us today that the herbal supplement, which is often used to ease opioid withdrawals, can be purchased in Monroe County by anyone regardless of age. The sheriff says he has researched the supplement and believes there are simply too many risks and potential problems with the herbal drug.
It's just a mind-altering drug that we're trying to get out of our county, to make our county safe for good people and citizens of Monroe County.
And you may remember the city of Columbus recently banned the product. Meteorologist Jacob Riley is standing by to give us a first look at our forecast on this Friday. Hey there, Jacob.
Hey there, Andrea. It's a pretty chilly night out there right now. We have those clouds around the area. Many of us are really chilly, as I just mentioned. We're currently sitting in the 40s in most locations, a low 50 coming in at the GTR airport. We're going to keep those clouds around tomorrow. We do have some warmer air working its way back into our area, though. We're a good 20 to 10 degrees below what we were this time yesterday across the area. Just more evidence of that cold air. As we go throughout the night tonight, we will begin to see those showers begin to develop once again. Not expecting any severe weather, Andrea, but we could have a few gusty winds.
All right, Jacob, thanks a lot. Emergency and management officials and Columbus City leaders have a clearer picture of the aftermath of last Saturday's tornado. The two groups met today to compare notes and continue fine-tuning recovery plans. Now, one major item was documenting all the damage in the city and the county to be able to request a federal disaster declaration. Debris removal and power restoration were also discussed during that meeting. They also talked about preparing for another possible round of severe storms.
We just want to let everybody please be cautious out there this weekend. We know there's severe possibility for severe weather again this weekend. Just be very cautious because there may be a tree that was leaning from the last storm or a building. Just be very careful because any wind could probably push that tree on over or destroy that home.
City leaders and employees also went out to impacted areas by the recent floods to pass out cleaning buckets. Well, cleaning up can be a messy business, and as you drive through the city of Columbus, you can see the reminders of Saturday's storm piling up. Our Riley Livingston caught up with some crews working to clear the streets. She joins us live now with the latest. Riley.
Andrea, here on 3rd Avenue North, workers have been removing tree limbs, shingles, and other rubbish. There are literally tons of debris, and it all has to go somewhere.
We won't stop until we get this city where it needs to be.
Public Works crews are back in full force after a brief slowdown to allow Columbus Light and Water to restore power. Now they are working non-stop to get debris loaded up and moved out.
My guys are back at it strong. They're out there. Even for this weekend, we're going to be working 11 hours. We're going to work from 6 to 5 this whole weekend, trying to get stuff picked up.
Right now, all that rubble is going to one place, the landfill. But the sudden overload may force a change of plans.
We got our plan put together. Right now, our landfill is at almost capacity for the city, and we don't want to exceed or get to a point that we can't use our landfill for our city and our citizen here. So we are planning on trying to take some of that rubbish to our West Point site.
Landfill Supervisor Roger Lewis says they are working to keep everything organized. They have 3 separate piles set up: city and county trash, debris and limbs, and metal.
Our metals we recycle, we take those out somewhere else, and everything has to go in a different place according to MDQ regulations. So if it's not in the proper place, we could get fined for it. And also to protect the wildlife and everything, we got to make sure we have everything permitted in its footprint so it can dump and degrade into the ground properly.
As the cleanup process moves forward, Lewis expects to see more residential material coming in.
If you're bringing your own personal debris, make sure it's just debris, not your household trash. When I say debris, I mean limbs as far as vegetation, wood, concrete, shingles, anything. Any of your household trash, that would go somewhere else, and we wouldn't be able to take that here. And make sure you put it on a truck, bring it on a trailer, and have it. It don't have to be sorted or anything, but be able to separate your metal from your debris.
If you plan on making a trip to the landfill, you need to stay weather aware. Lewis says that the roads do not have gravel and can become muddy very quickly. Reporting live in Columbus, Riley Livingston, WCBI News.
SNAP recipients affected by the storm have a chance to regain some of the items they lost. Many people over the past week have lost the majority of their food either from the tornado or from resulting power outages. Current recipients need to stop by the Department of Human Services to reapply for their SNAP benefits. They will replace the food that was lost and also help homeowners restock.
They just need to go by. The addresses are already in the system, so just reapply. Don't let the deadline pass and not reapply, because if you do, then they're not going to replace that food that you've lost.
The deadline to apply is Tuesday at 5 p.m. Coming up, some area students are celebrating a special literary birthday. We take a look when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. Blindfolded Bowman, Drum-Tummied Snums, and Willy Waloo all come to life for students at Coleman Head Start. See, I got some tongue twisters in there. Guest readers from the Columbus Junior Auxiliary brought the fantastic world of Dr. Seuss' If I Ran the Circus to life today. The reading was part of Read Across America Day. It's an annual event to celebrate the joy of reading, and usually it's held on March 2nd to mark the birthday of Theodore Giselle, better known as to all children, all of us, as Dr. Seuss. Since the second falls on a Saturday this year, the kids got a one-day head start on all of the festivities. Looks like a lot of fun. Well, miraculous stories keep emerging almost 1 week after an EF3 tornado tore through Columbus. A house on 8th Avenue North next to Railroad Street, look at this, was picked up in one piece and moved several feet back. 9 children, we're told, were in the home at the time, escaping with only minor cuts and bruises. Neighbors say the children were huddled together in the living room when the storm hit. We'll have more on this story coming up tonight at 9 and 10.
Well, temperatures are going to remain pretty steady overnight, only dropping down there into the upper 40s. As we go throughout tomorrow, we're going to see those 60s return. It's not going to last long, though. Coming up after the break, I'll let you know when those highs drop back down into the 40s.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with meteorologist Jacob Riley.
Well, good Friday evening. We do have that thick cloud deck still across the area here, especially on our Louisville Alpha Insurance Skycam. We're going to keep those clouds as we go overnight tonight. I don't see them leaving our area anytime soon. Now, as we head on into later this weekend, especially Sunday, we do have the potential to see a couple of severe storms work their way back on into our area. It doesn't look as significant as last weekend, but then after that, we're going to see some much colder air move in. Luckily, we'll get some more sunshine out of that, though. But right now, not much going on out there. Here's that cold front that moved through last night and this morning. That's what brought us the colder air that we're seeing today. As we go overnight tonight, we could see a few more showers begin to develop. This is at 11 p.m. tonight. Those showers will pull on through our area like they have done the past couple of nights. Not expecting any severe weather out of this. We could have some gustier winds with a few of those showers, but no severe weather is expected until we get on into your Sunday. Saturday, we could have a few more peaks of sunshine here across the area, but then those clouds will build back in as we move later on into your evening hours. It's going to be warmer tomorrow. Thankfully, highs here ranging in the middle 60, 63 Eupora, 62 degrees there in Vernon. A little cooler up north, coming in at 55 degrees there in Corinth. Now, as we head on into Sunday, we're going to have this warm front move through our area. That's what's going to bring us some rainfall ahead of the main line of storms. This could reduce our severe threat just a little bit, but as this cold front moves through later on in the day, that's when we're expecting those severe storms to move on into our area. That does all move out by Sunday night, though. Areas in the yellow here, you have the highest risk of seeing severe weather as we go on into Sunday. We do expect to see some damaging winds and maybe a few isolated tornadoes embedded with some of those stronger storms. In terms of rainfall, we're looking at a lot of it too between now and Sunday. Most of us will pick up anywhere between 1 and 2 inches of rain, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of us saw a little bit more. That does leave us with the threat of flash flooding here in the yellow between now and Sunday night. So if you do come across a flooded roadway, just turn around, don't drown. Once that cold front pushes through, it's going to bring in some colder air down out of the north, dropping us back below average, and next week it's going to be cold. Luckily, though, we are going to see that sunshine begin to work its way back on into your area. But that 7-day forecast, you see those 60s, they do not last long. Highs back into the 40s next week with overnight lows in the 20s. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Coach Moorhead and the rest of the football dog squad welcomes its newest assistant coach. Chris Marv joins the coaching staff as the linebackers coach and run game coordinator was made official today. Marv comes to Stark Vegas after having numerous years of experience in the SEC, serving as the inside linebackers coach at Vanderbilt, as well as playing on the Commodore squad from 2008 to 2011. Marv replaces Tem Lukabu after leaving for the Cincinnati Bengals earlier this week. The 5th-ranked Bulldogs prepare to put a bow on the regular season with one final game at Arkansas. And the game also gives MSU the opportunity on an outright SEC championship, something that head coach Vic Schaefer says is one of the hardest things that anyone can accomplish.
Got to be on our team. We can't focus on the outside. I mean, crowd's going to get rowdy. We already know it's a away game, so I mean, we have to stay in us.
Sure, they're excited about the opportunity to try to grab a share, and I'm going to tell our kids I don't want to share anything, you know. But I do think that over the past few years, our programs have been, you know, we've been in these games against each other a lot. And, you know, I have so much respect for Dawn and her staff and that team, and I know my team feels the same way. And we're excited about the opportunity, but this is who we are. I always want to be in that game.
The Pavilion played host to a heartbreaking loss for Ole Miss just the other night against Tennessee, but the schedule for the Rebels is not getting any easier. Ole Miss hits the road to play Arkansas, a team that they beat earlier in the season, but a team that also just went toe-to-toe with 4th-ranked Kentucky the other night. The Hogs lost by only 4 against the Wildcats, and Kermit Davis saying he thinks that Arkansas has improved since the last meeting between the two teams, presenting yet another tough matchup come tomorrow night.
Against Kentucky, they were just efficient. They didn't turn it over. Boy, they drove the ball. They were really sharing the ball, hard cutting, great motion. You know, Gafford, we did a really good job on him. He's such a load in there. And, you know, so he's a huge, huge key. And their team, you know, obviously they're you know, can really generate a lot of good energy at home. And but in a lot of ways, you know, real similar. They played hard against us. It was one of the best games that we've played. When you start looking, you know, you start forgetting until you go back and you look back. We played extremely hard and was pretty efficient against Arkansas here.
Happy March, the first of the craziest month of college basketball. The regular season finishing up this weekend for the women, and the men still have a little bit over a week to go. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule for the next few days. I know I said Ole Miss was playing tomorrow night. That was a mistake on me. They're actually playing at noon, so maybe if you consider that the evening, but I doubt anyone does. Ole Miss will be at Arkansas tomorrow at noon. Mississippi State and the men play at Auburn. Ole Miss, the women, they take on Tennessee for their senior day on Sunday, and the number 5 Mississippi State Bulldogs will also be playing South Carolina come Sunday. We'll have those highlights on WCBI. Starkville guard Terry Tate signs to continue his basketball career at Hines Community College. Tate has played a key role in bringing a district championship to Starkville and punching a ticket to Jackson. The senior says Hines felt like the place to be, but at the same time, Mama knows best. That's it for sports. We'll have your last look coming up after the break. Stick with us.
All right, Andrea, we're going to start off your weekend warm, but we have some strong to severe storms that are going to move through Sunday. After those push through, they're going to bring us some heavy rain, but they're also going to bring us some much colder temperatures. We're expecting wind chill values there on Tuesday and Wednesday morning in the teens.
Definitely people will be watching and listening closely, especially after what we had to deal with last Saturday, for sure.
Nothing that significant, but still the possibilities there.
All right. That's the news at 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Friday evening.